I will always, I promise you, put the middle class and working families first.
According to the Real Clear Politics polling average, the percentage of people who say the country is headed in the right direction is a glum 25%, where it's been flatlining for about a year. Strangely, defrocked President Joe Biden remains upbeat.
I can honestly say I'm more optimistic about the future than I was when I was elected as a 29-year-old United States Senator. I mean it.
Mr. Biden's sentiment echoed the overall vibe at the Democratic Party convention, where all speakers were bursting with joy and nervous energy about the future. But what about the here and now?
It's the end, boys. We've done our duty.
It reminds me of the classic 1958 movie about the Titanic, A Night to Remember, in which the ship's band stays on board and plays dutifully as passengers go over the side to fill the lifeboats. Inflation is the iceberg that the Biden-Harris administration hit shortly after its expensive launch in 2020. With Mr. Biden as its candidate, the Democratic Party was doomed. Now, with a reimagined Captain Harris reporting for duty, it just might survive.
I think it's disgraceful that Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are running from every media interview, running from every reporter.
Since sliding into the party's nomination, Vice President Harris has faced repeated questions about not consenting to interviews.
Can you commit to a press conference before the end of the month?
We will commit to directly engage with the voters that are actually going to decide this election.
Even so, her first experience with unavoidable reality, the persistence of high prices, did not go well. A proposal to place price controls on supermarkets and their products was mocked from right to left as a failed idea.
We don't need lectures on the economy from a candidate pushing communist price controls. Kamala has no idea what the hell she's doing.
The nonstop happy talk in Chicago from speakers such as the hyper-animated Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is supposed to dispel that initial stumble.
Thank you, Chicago! In Kamala Harris, we have a chance to elect a president who is for the middle class because she is from the middle class. She understands the urgency of rent checks and groceries and prescriptions. She is as committed to our reproductive and civil rights as she is to taking on corporate greed.
From day one, a Harris presidency overwhelmingly will be about two things: ever higher levels of federal outlays and enabling greater union control of the private economy. One of the convention's most revealing speeches was given by United Autos Worker President Shawn Fain, who explicitly singled out Chrysler owner Stellantis for allegedly violating its recent contract with the UAW.
Stellantis must keep the promises they made to America in our union contract.
Never mind the fact that the decision to lay off nearly 2,500 workers in Michigan and delay a new plant in Illinois is because of the poor economic realities of manufacturing autos in such states. Mr. Fain stood before a national audience to say, "Economic reality be damned. You will keep unionized factories running no matter the cost."
And the UAW will take whatever action necessary at Stellantis or any other corporation to stand up and hold corporate America accountable.
That summarizes the broader beliefs of every progressive elected official, union leader, public worker, and nonprofit president at the convention. A Harris presidency will spend trillions more to subsidize jobs, college, health care, and senior care. The deficit and debt be damned.
It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division.
Democrats also successfully achieved their other convention goal, defining the party's opponent.
For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
One might say there's nothing new in the Democrats' attacks on Donald Trump, which have been running nonstop for years. But by bombarding him from all sides, the Democrats know their volatile opponent will feel obliged to respond and that the response is likely to be scattershot, leaving undecided voters confused about Mr. Trump's own priorities.
I look forward to working with Kamala and Tim to pass this agenda.
The politics on offer right now for swing state voters comes down to this: Kamala Harris's long list of government support programs or Donald Trump's still evolving response to his new opponent.
Between his movement and her left, there's a lot of craziness. I'd say a step further than weird. Weird is a nice word by comparison.